This week, Israel faces a storm on every front. Terror surges in Judea and Samaria. Gaza negotiations stall. Hezbollah inches toward war. Syria ignites. And across the region, Arab leaders trade threats while Iran prepares for the next phase. This is the war the world refuses to see. This is the shield of truth. Two terror attacks in under 24 hours. The latest, a stabbing in Adarat in Benjamin. Two Israelis wounded. Hamas immediately praised the attack, calling it a natural response, and urging Palestinians to escalate the resistance in all forms. The terrorist, Mohammed Raslan Asmar from Ramah, was eliminated and hailed by Hamas as a heroic martyr. Across Gaza, Hamas and Islamic Jihad teams have renewed searches for the remains of fallen Israeli hostages. Today's searches took place in Beit Lahia. Yesterday they searched Jabalia. Last month they searched multiple neighborhoods in eastern Gaza. Two fallen hostages remain inside Gaza. Staff Sergeant Ron Gili, age 24, a Yassam fighter who killed 14 terrorists before being taken, and 43-year-old Thai worker Sotasak Rintalak. Israel continues pressing for the return of both. The transition to Phase 2 of the Gaza agreement is now stalled. Egyptian sources confirm that the meeting between Egyptian intelligence chief Hassan Rashad and Shin Bet director David Zini produced no real progress. Egypt opposes several Israeli proposals, especially Israel's vision of rebuilding only the southern zone under Israeli control. Cairo insists on sticking to what was agreed at Sharm el-Sheikh, including the full ceasefire framework. Egypt also warned that the American-backed international security force planned for Gaza is unstable, that several nations are hesitant to send their soldiers. Meanwhile, Egypt is training thousands of Palestinian Authority police officers, planning to deploy them in Gaza. Hundreds are reportedly already prepared. Inside Syria, Idlib's interior security commander Rasan Bakir confirmed two operations against ISIS cells, seizing weapons, explosives, suicide belts, and detaining militants who refused to surrender. Saudi Arabia and Russia signed a mutual visa exemption agreement, a significant diplomatic shift with major regional implications. At Egypt's EDEX 2025 Defense Expo, Egyptian Defense Minister Abdel Magid Sakhr warned of a rapidly escalating regional threat. He stated plainly, "The region risks sliding into full war. Strength and preparedness are not aggression. They are the foundations of real peace." The Arab Cup football tournament opened tonight in Doha, with Palestine versus Qatar in a match Arab outlets call a symbolic showcase of unity amidst humanitarian crisis. Iran's foreign ministry spokesman declared that Iran and Saudi Arabia are committed to strengthening cooperation for regional security, while simultaneously accusing Israel of genocide, daily violations in Syria and Lebanon, and claiming the world is failing to stop Israel's actions. A spokesman for the Iranian Revolutionary Guard issued a warning. "If the enemy launches another attack, our response will be harsher. Iran is at its highest level of military readiness." In Lebanon, Al-Akbar reports intensified talks between the Arab states, Egypt, and the Gulf to push the Gaza agreement forward. The U.S. promises an impending breakthrough, but delays in reconstruction conference planning have raised doubts. Egypt's intelligence service also warned that the Hamas-PA conflict inside Gaza could trigger complications Israel may use as justification for renewed operations. U.S. envoy Morgan Ortagus will arrive in Lebanon on Wednesday, demanding inspections of civilian homes in the Bekaa Valley where weapons are reportedly stored. Lebanese Prime Minister Nawaf Salam warned that Israeli escalation is worsening and ordered the Lebanese army to complete its disarmament operations in southern Lebanon before year's end. In Israel, Ortagus also met Netanyahu, Katz, and Binder, attempting to prevent a Lebanon war. Analysts say the odds of success are near zero. A major IDF intelligence expose revealed Hezbollah's Unit 121 assassinated 4 Lebanese figures who tried to reveal Hezbollah's role in the 2020 Beirut port explosion. Among them, The former customs chief Joseph Scaff, thrown to his death after demanding ammonium nitrate removal. Munir Abu Rajali, stabbed to death after pointing to Hezbollah involvement. Journalist Joe Bejani, shot in his car after photographing the scene. Activist Lachman Slim, assassinated in his vehicle after accusing Hezbollah and Assad of orchestrating the blast. Hezbollah denied involvement. The evidence now says otherwise. Israel has been selected by the U.S. to join a strategic initiative securing global AI supply chains, alongside Japan, South Korea, Singapore, the Netherlands, the UAE, the UK, and Australia. Treasury Minister Bezalel Smotrich called it a dramatic return of Israel to the global technological stage. Online Arab language networks are celebrating the recent terror attacks and calling for more stabbings and vehicle attacks. One message: with knives and cars, we shatter the enemy's illusion. Ireland has frozen legislation that would criminalize buying products from Judea and Samaria, a diplomatic victory for Israel after behind-the-scenes pressure from Foreign Minister Gideon Saar, U.S. Congress members, and major business leaders. Overnight, Israel's elite Metzada unit arrested a longtime wanted suspect in Shuwaika, near Tulkarm, after an hours-long ambush. The suspect had previously run over police officers during an attempted arrest. Deputy Prime Minister and Justice Minister Yariv Levin issued a fierce statement accusing a small group of judges of illegally interfering with basic law reforms, calling their intervention an attack on democracy. Hamas informed Reuters it is handing over the remains of one of the two fallen hostages. Israel confirmed receiving materials through the Red Cross and will conduct forensic identification. The government urges the public not to spread rumors. As part of Operation Five Stones, IDF engineers demolished two terrorists' homes, one involved in the February bus bomb plot in Bat Yam and Holon, the other in the shooting attack at Mahola Junction that killed Yehonatan Deutsch. In Venezuela, President Maduro responded to former President Trump declaring, "We do not interfere in anyone's affairs. Do not interfere in ours. We will defend our land and our sovereignty." And now, the largest additional developments unfolding today. The Rafah tunnel collapse proves the siege works. Terrorists are emerging from tunnel shafts dehydrated, starving, surrendering. Had Israel implemented a prolonged, effective siege immediately, evacuating civilians first, hundreds of soldiers could have been saved. The evidence is undeniable. Syria is now a live battlefield. A raid in Beit Jan turned into a firefight. 2 Sunni terrorists killed. 1 a groom married hours earlier. 6 IDF soldiers were wounded, 3 seriously, making this the first incident since Assad's fall where IDF fighters were injured inside Syria in direct combat. Analysts warn that Sunni terror groups in Dara and Quneitra are now openly calling for jihad against Israel. This pattern haunted Assad's forces for years and may now shift toward Israel. Lebanon faces an ultimatum, or war. American envoy Tom Barak delivered 6 last-chance conditions to prevent a conflict. 1. Admit the ceasefire failed. 2. Hold direct talks with Israel. 3. Drop technical talks. Negotiate openly. 4. Agree to dismantle Hezbollah's military wing with Arab-funded compensation. 5. Accept a U.S.-supervised timeline for Hezbollah disarmament. 6. Implement IMF reforms to clean up Lebanon's corruption. Sources say this is the final warning before war. Cairo's negotiations reveal the truth. Hamas wants to keep its weapons, even briefly, and talks never discussed turning Hamas into a political-only party. Qatar, Turkey, and the U.S. attended the meeting. Egypt warned an Israeli ground operation in Lebanon is now almost inevitable. The Red Cross and Hamas will renew the search for the body of a fallen Israeli hostage in Gaza's Zaytun district. Released Palestinian terrorists are complaining that life in Egyptian hotels is exhausting and, like prison, demanding permanent housing abroad as part of their rights. The Houthis in Yemen have expanded their smuggling networks dramatically, to import more weapons and sensitive materials for future operations. Qatar warns Israel must not interfere with Phase 2 of the Gaza agreement and insists normalization with Israel will not happen without a solution for the Palestinian issue. Closing, low, steady, resolute, Israel is fighting a war on every front: Gaza, Lebanon, Syria, Judea and Samaria, global diplomacy, and inside its own institutions. Enemies rise from every direction: knives in the street, rockets in the north, terrorists underground, liars in the courts, and traitors in the shadows. But Israel does not break. Israel does not bend. Israel stands. This is Shield of Truth, because truth, like Israel, will never fall.